Nowadays, more and more people than ever before are becoming millionaires in the United States. There are millions of millionaires. The issue is that a lot of them go broke within a couple years. Studies show that if you track lottery winners after they win their millions or hundreds of thousands, they're back to going to work at the same company that they worked at before because they've spent all their money. In this video, I want to do something that I think is more needed than ever before, which is some tips for people on how to manage their winnings if they strike it rich all of a sudden, whether because of a TikTok account that went viral or a YouTube account, a lottery or game show, or just their own luck and fortune of succeeding with a company or who knows what. And you might be wondering, why trust me? Well, I have done a lot of research based on tons of millionaires, successful people. I've read tons of biographies of people you would think would know better, who have made a lot of mistakes with their money, which include Kevin Hart, Will Smith, and a lot more. So the first biggest and seemingly obvious but not so obvious rule is you have to realize that having $1 million or $500,000 or however much you won, although it seems like infinite money, it is not infinite money. You still have to do some budgeting. How is that the case? You think you're just rich and you can buy whatever you want for the rest of your life. Not really. Nowadays, $100,000 isn't that much. You buy a house, not even a big house, and that money's gone. You buy a car, and not even one of the best cars, and that money's gone. And even if you won $1 million, think about it. Depending on how you got that $1 million, most of the time, almost all the time really, you have to pay taxes on it. And almost half of that money is gone out of the gate. Think about that. From $1 million down to $400,000. That's one thing they don't tell you when you win The Voice or you win America's Got Talent. So how do you start budgeting? How do you actually still enjoy your life without feeling like you're still cramped up or you're negative and you're saving every penny still? So I guess the second tip is, you can still enjoy, you can still celebrate, you can still go out. Go ahead, buy some champagne, go out with your friends for a night in the town or to the nightclubs or whatever you like to do. But just realize that for any purchases you're going to make sure that they make mathematical sense. What's the biggest squeeze for your money? Because even with $1 million, that's maybe a good thing for 2, 3, 4, 5 years, but then it can go quickly. So is your goal to grow that into more money? Is it to save that to a moderately more amount, or is it to spend it and have the best time you can while it's still around, but in a reasonable way, so it's not blown in a day or two? So figure out that goal, and then from there, go from there. Here's what I mean. Like, think about this. I was watching Survivor, Winners at War, the 40th season, where they have all the winners from previous seasons come on. All of them have won $1 million, and they say this. One of the contestants says, "You won't believe how fast $1 million goes." And you could tell by his sentiment that he was not so happy with how he spent the money. So when I talk about assessing your goal for that money, it's like, what do you actually want from it that's going to be beneficial to you? For some people, it's about growing that into a nice nest egg of maybe 3 million or 5 million by the time they retire. So, I know one of the contestants from Survivor, he still works his same job after he's won his money. However, he understands that, with the million he won as a New Jersey police officer, it's not going to save the day for him, because of how long we live. 10 years. And then you have to split that between the whole family. He has a wife and multiple kids. You could use that up in 10 years by spending like around $100,000 a year, which is a modest, maybe above average income. But for 10 years, that's what you get for that family. So you can budget it out that way by kind of just spreading it out and having a generally higher quality of life throughout. Or you can try and build that into something more. You can take the more risky route of trying to kind of invest it in yourself, invest it in areas that can grow more, like real estate or your own business or investing in courses. But of course, there's that risk behind it. That means, if you're not good at this, which many people aren't, they could lose it all by investing it in something they don't understand well enough, and then that goes bye-bye. So if you do it that way, you have to treat it less like a gamble, and you have to do your due research. You have to find a business plan or industry that has low chance of failure and high upside. And the more kind of safer way to like grow and invest it, it's slower and you'll get more boring returns, but it's more modest, is to just put it into a less risky stock/bond portfolio of some sort. Yes, it's not gonna skyrocket like investing in a tech startup might, but you have a much higher chance of it just doing well no matter what. So there's a lot of different stock portfolios out there. I have done my research on it, and I generally recommend either David Swenson's model, which is basically a mix of a lot of different things. You could search it up for the exact percentages, but it's like a mix of everything basically. You have your index fund for the US, and then you have some real estate, and then you have bonds, and then you have international stocks. So that's one way. Or the more simplistic way would be Warren Buffett's recommended method for the average individual, which is putting 90% into the US S&P 500 stock index fund, and then 10% into bonds. Sounds simple, but he's done the math that almost always does better than professional money managers, which is kind of sad because those money managers charge millions of dollars to try and pick stocks, and they can't even do it well. Those are the different tips there. Now, let's say you're super young. Let's say you're not a 40-year-old with a family yet. You're a 16-year-old who started a TikTok account, turned that into something bigger, and now you have $500,000 or who knows how much. What would you do to best manage your money? Now, of course, I would, of course, recommend talking to a professional first and making sure you get the best input from them as well. But sometimes a lot of these professionals are really just trying to sell you on a stock or something, so you got to be careful. So with me, who has no real agenda other than to help out anyone who watches this, I would say for you, your biggest goal if you want to grow that money is to probably save some of it so you don't spend it all. Choose a percentage. I would say at least 25-30%. You can do that, man, because if you're making so much money, you can easily sock that away. Okay, so there's no excuses there. So at least 25-30%, just put it away into something that you can't touch. You can't touch in the short or midterm future, whether that's some type of asset like a real estate, or just in a bank account which you can't access unless you go to the front desk. They still have banks like that. Or something where you can't touch it, like a retirement account. So just put that away, sock it away, at least that much. For the rest, you should have a portion set aside as Ramit Sethi calls the guilt-free spending money. This is where you can celebrate, you know, buy your watches, your cars, whatever you enjoy doing. Let's say this is another 25 to 30%. So you can even make it 35 to 40% if you really want to just let loose. And that still leaves around a good 20 to 30% that you can spend on investing in yourself. And this final piece of the pie is really what's going to make you much more money moving forward. And it's as simple as this. If that content creation, that YouTube channel, and this comes intuitively to some but not so much to others, if that's what's made you so much, then why would you take that out and put it into something new that you're not even really good at or know much about, like real estate, when you can just keep putting that into higher video production, higher social media presence, collabs, sponsorships, and grow your YouTube channel or TikTok and make even more.